So today I have to do some testing with the Mini, which required me to actually update the whole firmware and stuff. If you guys remember, the latest update should enable you to control things like the shutter speed and all that for the lighting, because I might have to do something with it next week. I actually held off because usually with their firmware updates, they introduce so many other, I guess, disastrous bugs and stuff like that just based on history. And when I tried updating it at first, it basically wasn't successful. I mean, it even said like what, firmware 0000, that was the current version when I updated it. So yeah, I had to do it a couple of times and then it worked. And I guess one thing to keep in mind too is when you do these updates, you should update it with the other batteries as well, because sure enough, when you put the other one in and then you update it again, it'll ask you for a refresh as well, because those batteries need updating, not just like the drone itself. So you could have updated the drone at first with one battery, everything looks okay, like it says 100%, and then all of a sudden if you try a different battery, like it shows you here, like this message says firmware incompatibility detected, and you want to update it. So I did that with the controller, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I wonder if nowadays these settings would actually scare more people, because when you go in the settings, like when you update it, the stuff that here says data authorization. DJI and third-party partners will access the following information to ensure that the software functions properly. They can turn it on or off and so forth. So again, it makes me wonder if people will be more afraid of stuff like this nowadays just because of all that stuff about, I guess, Chinese software and all that, where countries are banning them because they're afraid it'll go to things like the Communist Party and all that. With that in mind too, it seems like all the news, mostly the dominant ones that I was seeing, was all about Huawei being banned in the UK. I know in India they banned Chinese apps like TikTok and stuff like that. This one says Huawei 5G kit must be removed from UK by 2027. The UK's mobile providers are being banned from buying new Huawei 5G equipment after 31st December, and they must also remove all Chinese firms' 5G kit from their networks by 2027. Digital Security Oliver Dowden told the House of Commons of the decision. It follows the sanctions imposed by Washington, which claims the firm poses a national security threat, something Huawei denies. Of course, that would mean this would delay things like the 5G stuff over there, and they literally like have to take out like all of the equipment like physically and replace them. So they say it's for security concerns, or is it for political reasons, which a lot of people are arguing about. That's why I was kind of interested in reading this one. This one says, Trump on UK's Huawei ban. I did this myself. This one says, US President Donald Trump said that he was responsible for Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to ban Huawei from Britain's 5G network from the end of 2027. A remark China said proved London's move was about politics rather than security. Would you believe that's the case? It would be more about things, for example, those recent events about that Hong Kong security law in China, which is making a lot of, I guess, countries nervous and not wanting to support, I guess, things like China or being reliant on them in those cases. And it's kind of interesting reading this one from the US too. It says, US to hit Huawei employees with visa bans for right abuses. The Trump administration said Wednesday it will impose travel bans on employees of the Chinese technology giant Huawei and other Chinese companies the US determines are assisting authoritarian governments in cracking down on human rights, including China's western Xinjiang province. Man, that is really harsh, isn't it? Or it's like a full-on war in that sense in terms of, I guess, technology and trade. I'm not sure that'll happen here. Like this one says, Huawei still hopes to sell 5G equipment in Canada despite pressure from the Five Eyes. I know a lot of companies actually, the telecommunication ones here, they actually were going to use the Huawei stuff because it was cheaper, but I guess because of all this news and stuff like that, a lot of them here, at least locally, decided to scrap them and use other stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this actually goes about even with other stuff. Like for example, even like DJI stuff. Well, they eventually just say, nope, no more like consumer DJI stuff as well. Wouldn't that be crazy, like in North America? Companies like Skydio and Parrot have been benefiting from this. And it's kind of interesting reading this one. It says, define the future of drones. Parrot partners with WiseKey to define the future of drone security. Parrot, the leading European drone group, announced today it is partnering with WiseKey International Holdings, a leading global cybersecurity and IoT company, to integrate advanced digital security solutions into Parrot's growing range of Anafi drones. Public safety, security, defense, and inspection professionals comprise a growing market share of drone users and demand the highest level of privacy, encryption, and security for their flights. Through this partnership, WiseKey's decades of expertise and suite of proven security technologies, coupled with Parrot's industry-leading drone security offerings, will provide solutions compliant with the world's most strict privacy regulations and will set a new paradigm of standards for future innovations. It makes me really curious whether or not the drone market will be completely shaken up just by the end of this year with all this stuff happening. All right, see you guys later.